Welcome to this week's episode of 3-Minute Metaphors, where I describe the experience of having ADHD as a metaphor in 3 minutes or less. It has been ages since I've done one of these. I have finally got my mojo back with it, actually got a lapel mic so that I don't have to carry my equipment around and then get in a tiz about how I just wanted to say something off the cuff, but now it's a whole thing. So, woo! Usually with these, I give a bit of a headline as to what it is about and then go into the metaphor, but I'm going to start with the metaphor because I don't know where I'm going to end up. This is based on a conversation that I've been having this week with someone that has, we've built this whole metaphor around a candle and a burning flame in relation to ADHD and careers and energy and motivation and what that means. And there's something in there for me that is about how we choose to live our lives courageously. And let's just get into it and it's going to make sense. So 3 minutes. Okay. I'm trying to just think it through so I don't wait. No, we're just going to go for it. Will it be articulate? I don't know. That's not the point. Well, it is the point. Okay. It's funny how time pressure gets me in such a tiz, but it's also the best thing, right? Because it means we'll do it. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. I'm going to take a breath so I don't get too in a flizzle. I've been talking to someone this week about the idea of a flame, like a candle flame, representing the experience of having ADHD. Now, we were talking about it in relation to career. So in relation to kind of going into something all in, that flame burning, sky high, wanting it, and then motivation fading and the candle blowing out. And that experience is so common amongst us with ADHD. I did a video a few weeks back about those extreme highs and lows. Go and watch that if you haven't already. This metaphor is also partly being I'm not going to edit this, you're just going to get it raw, right? This is what's happening. I'm too excited as well. Okay, calm. We might need to go more than 3 minutes. Hallelujah. It's been partly inspired by some of your comments because some of you were explaining how one of the ways that you manage your ADHD or just your energy or just your living is by having really focused downtime. So you burn really bright and then you let yourself completely, the candle blows out and the wick is just there. And through this discussion, I've really been reflecting on how I've been feeling this week and the things that I'm doing in my career and how that's evolved over the years and stuff. And I've realized something. We spend so much time trying to just have this low flicker, right? The candle is burning like we think a candle should burn. It's just stably there, like this, doing its thing, right? And what we battle with is that so often with ADHD, our candle flame burns so high and so bright that then we burn ourselves out and we go back to that shriveling wick. But not only just in terms of actual burnout, but just in terms of how we feel. We give so much of ourselves to stuff that we're interested in, excited about, enthusiastic about, right? We give so much of ourselves, but we can't sustain a flame that is that high, and so we burn out to a flicker. And my experience this week of something that I've been struggling with is because we feel our feelings so intensely and burn so brightly with stuff, when something knocks the wind out of our sails, it knocks the wind out of our sails. And if you're going to pathologize that, that's emotional dysregulation. And that is one of the most debilitating parts of ADHD, right? It's feeling those highs really intensely, but then rejection sensitivity or having a sensory experience that's really overwhelming. Suddenly, we're so overwhelmed by our emotion that the low really hits us. And it is painful. I feel you, it's physically painful. But I was comparing how I felt this week with that extremity to how I've been feeling for a really long time in my life and particularly in my job. And I just reached this conclusion where I was how do you want your flame to burn? Because yes, it is intensely painful for the flame to burn so brightly and then burn out completely. But I honestly think, for me personally and loads of people that I know with ADHD and that I work with, although that is really painful in the moment to exist like that, what is worse is a flame that is burning so barely and so slowly because the time has gone off, but I'm going to keep going. So slowly and just right? The flame, we think our flame needs to be like this, but our flame is but then there's another version of the flame that's just And I know you'll get me, I know you all get me, where you're in jobs or in lifestyles or in situations where you are feeling the depression setting in, where you feel that you don't have the motivation to get up and do stuff because you're not excited or passionate about what you do, or the kind of ratios of that are so loaded towards things that you have to just get through, the day, that the flame is like... And we think that that's safety, because it is safe, right? It's not as painful or as intense to barely burn. But you know what? I genuinely believe that over the long run, it is the most painful and it is the most debilitating, because the wax just weans down, melts down, and there's no real big experience of life. So I feel like I've kind of gone in various directions with that. But the point that I really wanted to make, and I've made it in probably that video about living highs and lows, really, is like being somebody with ADHD and your flame burning so brightly and then not burning at all is a painful experience, and I feel you. But I genuinely believe that the pain of the lows and the intensity of the highs is so much better than barely living in an existence of this is probably fine and I shouldn't put myself out there and I shouldn't do stuff that feels good to me. It's better. And there's so much more I could say about how to do that and build confidence in that. That's something for another time, but I just wanted to share that thought with you, and also acknowledge that there will absolutely be times when you need your flame to barely burn, right? Depending on your life circumstances. When I first got my diagnosis and I was in the pits and I was like, whoa, what is going on here? I mean, interestingly, I had a flame metaphor there, which is like I had this big flame of that wanted to like burst out into the world that I didn't know how to contain, and I did burn out. But the point that I was making before that mild sidetrack was I've just started singing Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Oh my goodness, what was it? It was something about the thing with burning out, ADHD diagnosis. Oh yeah, like I needed a period of time after that for the flame to just lightly flicker and mildly burn. That's okay. We can't always be doing this with the flames and the no flames. So, you know, I want this to be like inspirational, but I also want you to feel okay if you don't have the bandwidth to let your flame burn brightly at the minute. That's all right too. I might go do some doodling about this because I got so much more to say, but I'm going to stop it there. So anyway, my question to you is, how do you want your flame to burn? And how do you want to live your life? Let me know in the comments.